Hi, first of all, and thank you for doing this. So let me jump right in. This year looks like it's gonna be a big one for you. Not only is Incarnation about to release this week, but you also have a TV series called Salvage Marines coming later in the year. You mostly worked mainly on TV shows and action movies, and from what I've seen on your IMDb page, what's it like to move into horror?
Well, it was a really interesting experience, actually, and it was something I had wanted to do for a really long time because I love horror films, and I always feel like horror is such a great path for female actresses to kind of help launch them into the world. So I was super thrilled when Isaac Walsh, the director, approached me with this project. I read it, I was terrified, and the thing about horror is that I feel like the stakes are so high all the time because it's fear, it's your life might be on the line. So I think for me, like a big difference in the action versus like horror is that the emotional energy you have to bring to every single scene is so much stronger, and it's exhausting in a way, but it was so much fun.
That's awesome. All right, so you mentioned Isaac Walsh. This is his first feature. How does he compare to some of the more veteran directors that you compare with? How's his directing style, let's say?
So he's amazing. Isaac is definitely a true artist, and he's an actor's director. I will say that through and through. He is very supportive when you're working with him. He definitely listens to what you have to say. He has an amazing, sorry, sound. I don't know if I can.
I thought I did something. So
If I turn that off, it's gonna sound. You're gonna hear it. Sorry about that. Okay, so for example, I was in a scene and it was a very emotional scene. And he looks to me and he grabs my hand and he says, "Jess, do you feel safe?" And it was this like moment because it's one of the most pivotal scenes in the film. And it actually was so emotional that people had to leave the room after filming because people got like teared up, and people have been through things that really they related to it. So it was those moments that I was so appreciative of his just support. So yeah, I mean, that for me really defined him as a director. He definitely is, like I said, an artist at heart 100%. I mean, the guy is also a huge film buff. He's watched basically every film under the sun, and he'll tell you every actor, every director, everybody knows their names. He's got such a incredible film knowledge. But it was really amazing working with him. He doesn't feel first time. I'll say that. He has a big career ahead of him. So
all right, really cool. Yeah, so you said yourself you have wanted to do horror movies for a bit now. What is your favorite scary movie?
okay, so I love Quiet Place. And oh my gosh, that movie for me, I know that's like a more recent horror. I loved the sequel to it as well, and I was waiting on pins and needles for it to come out, but I just feel like Emily Blunt's performance is just unbelievable, and that movie has me the entire time just like, and it's interesting because it has basically no dialogue, you know what I mean? So you're kind of just experiencing this quiet film, but it is absolutely terrifying. And my all-time favorite movie of all time in the whole world, and it's not technically a horror, but I feel like it has an element of horror in a way, is Jurassic Park. It has those scares.
Definitely, 100%. I can absolutely see that as a horror movie. Yeah. uh, Next, you are working with Taye Diggs and Michael Madsen, both veteran actors, both in horror and in other genres. But what was it like to work with them?
I'll start with Tay. Tay is such a team player, first of all, as a fellow actor. He's very much like, whatever you need, you just let me know. So not only is he super freaking talented, he's also super funny, and he's incredibly nice and easygoing. So it was an incredible experience getting to work with him. I was so grateful when he came on board. So yeah, and his performance in the movie is fire. And then Michael Madsen, I mean, he's just a legend. I've actually been in another film with him, but we didn't cross paths, so I never got to actually meet him. And man, I mean, he's an icon, and every single thing he does is so on point and amazing and truthful. And I mean, there's some stuff that isn't even in the film, that some lines he'd throw out here and there that I was just like, oh, so good, you know. And he was super complimentary of my acting as well. And you know, he was like, you have a great career ahead of you. And I appreciated it so much.
Oh, I'd agree as well. I actually watched the movie last night. I gotta say, for you to say Taye Diggs is so easy, and then in the film, his character is so different and dark.
That was, I think Isaac wanted to show another side of Taye, you know, show a dark Taye, like a darkness, you know, because he's always that like buttoned up, like woo, you know, character a lot of the times, right? Like on All American and all of that. But there's he has so many sides to Taye and so many levels and so much depth. So
I agree. So I did want to ask you to, in the film, you're a part of a couple that moves into what essentially becomes a haunted house. Do you have any haunted house stories for us?
Like in real life?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, yeah. Yes, actually. I have one story I can think of in particular. A really good friend of mine moved into this very strange apartment here in like East Hollywood a couple of years ago. And I went over for the first time, and it was this like chopped up floor plan that was very odd, old building. And her brother and myself and her were there at the house, and her and I were sitting there talking in her room, and all of a sudden all of the cabinets and doors started slamming shut. And the weirdest thing was, her brother was like in the kitchen. I don't know what he was doing, but he came at that moment because he heard everything to check on us. And he had his phone in his hand, and he was like, what happened? And he snapped a photo, and these were cabinets in her room, so this wasn't like him playing a trick. He snapped a photo of our faces, so we like have the memory of how we were terrified. And to this day she would say that things would just like open and shut, so we weren't sure if it was some sort of weird draft that was in this house, or it was like it looked haunted. It looked like something over the many years that it's been there maybe has gone down in that apartment. But yeah, that was the first one that came to mind. But it's funny because we have the photo, so I think that's why I remember it so well.
Well, you experienced a lot of that in Incarnation as well. So yeah, a lot of the opening and shutting of doors.
It was Mammon. He was following me before, and now I got the movies. Probably moved in here somewhere. I don't know.
Well, maybe it'll be discovered. You know, you never know.
My like invisible roommate.
There you go. You catch Taye Diggs performing the ritual in the house. Sets off pretty much everything else for the rest of the movie. Have you ever done any of the weird ritual stuff like that people go through in like high school, say like Ouija boards or light as a feather, stiff as a board, anything like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think about like 8th grade, I had this friend whose mom owned a very strange bed and breakfast in Idaho, and she was kind of she was like into this kind of stuff, and so we did some Ouija board stuff. And yeah, I mean, I never knew if somebody was, moving the letters around, because it's just like so hard to tell. But yeah, I did that as a teenager. Didn't we all?
I think we all try it. It's always a bad idea. It always turns out.
No, now I'm like, I'd be like, get that away from me. There's no way I'm doing that. I don't trust it.
All right, and all right. So the publicity has described Incarnation as a cautionary tale about the price we pay for greed. Is that how you saw the movie?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard because obviously life is so tough, and making, we all exist trying to make money so we can live. I used to live in Spain, and they would say, you guys live to work. We just work to live, like the American mentality, right? Of just like, let's see how much we can acquire. So there's a lot of pressure. So this couple, Jess and Brad, they kind of fall into that because they are up to their necks in debt. And, you know, Brad has this dream that he really wants to see come through. And we all have dreams like that, you know, and where you'd almost do anything to make your dreams come true. So it's a very slippery slope greed. So we fall into that trap. But the demon actually like summons Brad and summons Jess into that realm by showing them what they can have. That's why like the scene where I hold the coins and it's flash of me with a baby, which is Jess's dream, right? It dangles that carrot and it pushes you into that greed, and then you pay the ultimate price.
Something else I wanted to ask you. The first thing that your character says when you arrive in the new home is you're gonna make so many great meals in that kitchen, and the first thing that you do is you burn a grilled cheese sandwich.
No, it was French toast.
Oh, it was French toast. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, here's the noise. Yeah, I don't know if Jess is exactly the most amazing cook now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, I think the meal would have been good, but yeah, she obviously, you know, I'm making breakfast. I'm first morning in your new house, dancing around, excited, making some French toast, and then I'm hearing banging, you know. So obviously, I go to inspect what is happening and I get trapped in the world. But again, it's the same concept where Mammon is compelling you to look in that box, to that's the, you know what I mean, so that it's discovered in essence, right? So I think that French toast takes a back burner.
My question was actually going to be if I got invited to dinner at your house, is any version of that true to life? Is it gonna be awesome meal, or is it going to be the burned French toast?
I think I'm a really good cook. And, you know, over the pandemic, I was cooking for my household, my boyfriend, his brother, our dog, their dog, and their parents at sometimes and stuff like that. And I definitely, like, my cooking skills became a lot more on point because I think we were all cooking so much over the pandemic, right? So I was making, my salmon is fire, Dijon chicken, artichokes, like bell peppers, like, you know, potatoes gratin or whatever. Lots of yummy stuff. Yeah. So
sounds delicious. Yeah.
I can make a good meal. My mom's a really good cook.
I want to give you some, what do you call it?
Chance to redeem
repentance or whatever from that scene, you know? So.
I know. Terrible.
But okay, so if there was a magic book or a genie or a mammon that you could give you whatever you wanted, what would you wish for?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough question. Do I get one wish?
I guess that's what I wrote, but yeah, whichever.
And I think that, like, this sounds so cheesy, but I think like what we all should wish for, because it'll end up satisfying all of the dreams, is just happiness. Because the things, if we wish for happiness, let's say, right, and let's say we had a genie that would do that, like, what does happiness look like? And it would probably fulfill a lot of our other, you know, love and so I feel like, you know, I don't know, I'm definitely, you know, I'm not a baby, so like I just feel like happiness is just everything. Peace and happiness is like, to be in that mindset. It doesn't matter. I don't need like a Lamborghini or some crap. I just want to be happy. You know, and I want to be.
I understand that completely.
Sounds cheesy. I'm not a cheesy person, but I think that's what I would wish for.
All right, great. And so let's see. I got one left for you. Do you think more horror projects are in your future, or what? Or is this one of those?
I hope so. I definitely really loved shooting a horror. First of all, there's an aspect, so it's emotionally draining at a lot of the times. However, it's a lot of fun, and especially in any scenes with jump scares or demons or anything like that, it can actually fall on the side of like very fun and funny to be on set in those moments. You know what I mean? So I certainly hope so. I would love another shot at some horror films. So, maybe one that's a little more gory. I don't know.
That's
I
cool.
actually wrote a horror. So I'm trying to, I kind of put that on the back burner, but I co-wrote a horror with a friend of mine, and it's a very like cool, interesting concept. So
Do
maybe
you,
I'll start on that one.
can you tell us anything about it, or?
It's about a girl in Los Angeles who works in a nightclub who basically gets in the wrong Uber and gets kind of like taken into this world that's just kidnapped into a very dangerous like underground society that kind of preys upon people in a way.
I like it. I like it. I'd get back to that. That
Yeah,
sounds good.
it's cool. It's cool. So it's just like I was writing it pre-pandemic, and then when the pandemic hit, we all were like, "Whoa, what?" It's finished, and then I worked a lot. It was interesting. I shot like 2 TV shows and 2 films in the pandemic, so I got just distracted with that. Now I'm ready to get back to seeing what I can do with that. So
Very cool.
yeah,
All right.
you like horror films, I'm gathering.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Horror films.
Tried to make the opposite a little more festive.
I like what you got going on there.
Yeah, the records too. I got
Yeah.
Glass House on the left. So get some Titans up there.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully one of these days one of my movies can end up maybe as a Titan.
oh, I hope so. I definitely hope so. All right. All right, so that's all I got for you. Do you have anything for me?
No, I mean thank you for watching the movie. Thank you for interviewing me. I feel like we should take a little pic and we can post it on our social.
Sure.
All right, let's see how.
Oh, I forgot where I was looking.